Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. In this video I'm going to be comparing the two big boy yokes, shall we call them, the Honeycomb XPC yoke and the VelocityOne flight yoke system. I'm going to be going over the features of both yoke systems. And then at the end of the video, I'll be giving you advice on which may be the best purchase for you, with a couple of additions there, as you'll see. This will be applicable for both Xbox and PC Microsoft Flight Simmers, as the yokes will work on both systems. Also in this video, I'm going to correct or bring up an oversight that I should have mentioned on my original XPC video about the whole way that I received this unit. Just want to correct something there. Okay, so let's not dilly-dally. Let's get on with this video. So before we get to the main subjects of the video, there's something I want to clear up. I want to clear up an oversight with my original video with this XPC yoke. Look at the timeline below. The video is divided by chapters. If you're not interested in this part, jump to the chapter that you're most interested in. But let's start at the beginning with my saga with this XPC yoke. I put in a day one order in the UK. Many of us did. Many of our day one orders were cancelled, and we simply got a simple email saying that our orders were cancelled. No real explanation at that time. We did get future emails with a more thorough explanation. But I kind of felt myself that was bad customer service. I wiped my hands with the XPC yoke. Wasn't really intending to pre-order it or order it full stop again. I'm going to link the video I did about my day one cancellation, because I do think it's relevant. When I got the email from Nikki, let me show you that back on screen again. It's just a segment of that email. He did personalize that to me. I felt that was a nice touch. But it was an oversight on my part. When I got the email, I should have come back to you, my viewers, with a community post saying, look, I know a lot of you are disappointed with Honeycomb with having your day one orders cancelled. But I've got this offer. Would you be interested in me making a video on the XPC yoke? I know a lot of people were interested in a video from me, given my thoughts. But I should have been more sympathetic with the people who had their day one orders cancelled. Me making that video on a review with the XPC yoke, I'll link that in the description as well. That I hope that didn't come across as me being self-centered. Look, I've got the yoke, you haven't. Hard luck for you. That wasn't my intention at all. It was just that people wanted to know my impressions with the XPC yoke. But I should have made, especially in that video as well, I should have highlighted that issue that other people had their day one orders cancelled. And I hope that the video wasn't going to be in bad taste. That just wasn't my intention. It would have been nice from Honeycomb when they sent me the email to say that, look, we're going to give your viewers a discount from the UK if they had their day one orders cancelled. We'll now give them a discount on this yoke. That would have been a nice move. That wasn't the case, but I just wanted to show my impressions of the XPC yoke, and that's the reason I put out the video. But I wanted to correct that oversight from me. I hope that didn't come through in bad taste. Okay, so with that mentioned, let's now move on to the bulk of the video, main subject of the video, comparing the two yokes. Let's first start with the VelocityOne flight yoke system. So the VelocityOne flight, or essentially the VelocityOne flight yoke system. Now excuse me, for the purpose of this video, I've got the big 3M sticker acting as this sort of stabilizer for the XPC Yoke. I didn't want to move that around, so I've got this attached to my Turtle Beach flight stand. I'm going to link the whole VelocityOne playlist that I've made down below in the description, because I'm going to be mentioning a lot of those videos in this video. It's just easier to list the whole playlist. The flight stand is within that playlist if you want to go and look at that video. And it's one of the big advantages of this yoke system, flight yoke system. You can pretty much attach it anywhere. It's one of the best clamping systems on the market. Just a couple of leg clamps here that you utilize with an Allen key on the top here. Sure, many of you know this already. You've seen other videos, but then you can just clamp it down pretty much anywhere to pretty much any surface that I've come across to yet. Highly portable system. With this flight yoke system, you get the whole shebang. I bought this for £350 originally. I've just looked on Amazon recently on the UK and the US Amazon. It's going for $300 or sub £300. I often see this going for around £280, £290. Exceptional value at the moment. And that's possibly going to keep coming down that price as well. So with this, you get the yoke system. You also get the throttle quadrant included. Not only do you get the 4 throttle levers on top there, you get these GA push-pull levers, which when I'm using this yoke system, when I'm flying aircraft like the Cessna 172, 152, these are the levers that I would predominantly use on this flight yoke system. Obviously, you got throttle, prop, and mixture there. Now, these don't twist and turn like the real thing. Obviously, some limitations had to be made. But the range of them feel very nice, and these are great to use. I was going to buy a separate push-pull GA lever quadrant before seeing this. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to go out and buy this, and I did purchase this pre-order on day one, which came through, thankfully. So lovely levers. You've also got this huge bank of buttons here. And those in combination with the 4 essentially hat switches, or 2 PLV switches and 2 hat switches, you can do all kinds of autopilot shenanigans with this. Go and look in my VelocityOne playlist that I've linked in the description. You'll see a video there where I've showed you how to set up sort of rotary switches using a combination of the buttons and these hats and PLV switches. You don't normally see this amount of PLV or hat switches on any flight yoke or flight system, except the very expensive sort of HOTAS systems will have something similar to this. So these are great to use, another bonus and advantage of this system. I did say it's a whole shebang. On the back of the handles there, you've got a couple of triggers. Adaptive feeling triggers. Listen, if you don't want to splash out, if £300 is the most you want to go to for a flight yoke system, you don't have the extra or not willing to splash out on a pair of expensive rudder pedals like the Turtle Beach rudder pedals here, or the forthcoming Honeycomb rudder pedals, which would be even more expensive. If you're not willing to go out and do that, you don't need to with this system. When I was in London last year, I took this with me. Well, I didn't originally, but then I had to get this. I went back to my storage unit, got this out of storage, brought it with me. Absolutely fine using these triggers, adaptive triggers as rudders. They work well on the ground as in the air. These are one of the best, without using rudders, one of the best way to utilize rudders on a flight yoke system. So rather than using your twist on your HOTAS or with other systems on the Xbox controller you got the triggers, these just feel better and very adaptive, very nice to use as rudders, as I've just mentioned. Also at the back there, you've got the SIP panel. I've not got this activated at the moment, but when you do have it activated, certain of these lights would turn off or on to let you know if you got your landing gear or autopilot on, etc. I've got videos within that playlist on that as well. So exceptional value. Now let's just get on to the yoke itself, because that's going to be quite important. It's got lovely movement. in the ailerons, left and right. If you move it, and it just does deflect to 180 degrees each on each turn, so left and right there, or each bank rather, when you're banking. If you turn it, leave go, it's got quite a pronounced spring back to the center. Not quite as bad as the Logitech flight yoke system. It's not too bad, I guess, but it is quite pronounced. One of the issues, and it's the issue I found after my first impressions video, I went for a couple of flights with this yoke system, I found it sticking in the elevator. So when I was coming into land, for example, I'm just over-exaggerating this at the moment, but it would stick coming into land and I couldn't land properly. I thought, oh, this is going to be unusable. A lot of people were having that issues after literally a couple of weeks of use. That loosened up. And now I can float my aircrafts quite easily. I'm doing that one-handed. The elevator axis there has now smoothed out. One of the things to be aware of, it seems to be a bit of a design flaw. There's some kind of bristles in the body of the body here. Apparently, that's doing that. One of the design flaws that you may find it sticking when you first use it. Use it for a little while, maybe a week or two. You're going to find that eases. And you're going to have no more issues about it sticking in the elevator axis. Some people didn't have that at all, but it is an issue you have to be aware of. Okay, so that's the VelocityOne flight yoke system. Exceptional value in my opinion. It was my go-to yoke, probably. I'll come back to this later. It's certainly one of my go-to yokes that I prefer to use. Okay, so let's now move on to the XPC yoke. And so on to the Honeycomb XPC yoke. Now, when you buy the XPC yoke, all you're getting is the yoke system and a number of switches, which I'll come back to later. You'll want some kind of throttle control with this, of course. I went with the cheaper option. I went with the Logitech throttle quadrant, which works on both Xbox and PC. But you need to have the hub. The hub plugs into the back of the yoke system and your peripherals plug into the hub so you can use them on Xbox. You don't need that if you're using this on PC. This whole setup, which is the reason I went for this, I've seen this on Amazon for $269 currently. I've seen this, I got that for around £40, the Logitech throttle quadrant, and I've seen that on Amazon currently for £40 as well. It's going to be around about £350 if I have my maths right there for that whole system. It's comparable to the VelocityOne flight cost there. A little bit more expensive, but if you want the full experience, you're going to want to buy the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant, which works on both PC and Xbox as well. That's going to set you back about another £250 roughly within that price range. You can often find the Bravo on sale, but it's still going to be more expensive. I don't feel Honeycomb are hiding away from there. I'll get into this in a moment. They're saying if you wanted that more premium flight experience, you're going to be paying a little bit more for it, but you're going to be getting a little bit more for your money. With the Bravo, I'll put a picture on screen there. You've got the trim wheel, you've got some autopilot controls, lots of switches. I believe it comes with a landing gear as well, doesn't it? So you're getting a whole lot more if you buy the Bravo throttle as well. Let's get on now to the features of the XPC Yoke. When I first started using this, those Hall effect sensors, the 4x resolution bump over the original Honeycomb Alpha Yoke system. You can really feel that. The only way you're going to experience that is to actually try this for yourself. Feels smooth as silk in flight in both the ailerons and the elevator axis. Never felt anything quite like this flight yoke system in comparison to other yokes and flight sticks and the whole test that I've tried. Does feel quite sensational. Very smooth and very nice to use in flight. It does, let's just show you the spring back to center. Does have the deflection in both directions of 180 degrees, by the way, just like the VelocityOne flight. Spring back to center. It's got a nice smooth spring back to center as well. very premium feeling, I've got to say. You get one hat switch, only one hat switch, which is a shame. It would have been nice with the XPC to have a couple of hat switches at least. I feel that was a bit of a missed opportunity. But you do get a number of various nice feeling clickable rocker switches. 4 of them, in fact. And there's a button on the other side of this handle and a couple of other buttons here. Talking about buttons, I'll also link down below in the description my Logitech switch panel review when I did the whole sort of 3 panels on top of my Logitech Flight Yoke. I'll link that video down below for you. You don't need it with this panel. You've got the avionics and master switches here. You've got light switches here. I believe this is new with the XPC Yoke. With the starter switch, if you want to turn it from both to start, it will spring back to both. Nice feature. I don't believe the original Alpha did that. And you've got some Xbox branded buttons that you can bind in Flight Sim as well. So very nice. It is quite a wide body. You do need quite a lot of space on your desk. That's just for the Yoke. If you got the Bravo, you can imagine. I'll have to move that radio panel out of the way if I had the Bravo there. So you do need quite a lot of space. Not quite as portable, nowhere near as portable as the VelocityOne flight. So in that aspect, yeah, it is a bit of a disadvantage. The clamping system. I'll show you a picture on screen again how I've got this clamped to my desk. I'm using the big 3M sticker at the bottom of the stand that the Yoke fixes to. And it holds it nice and firm. You do get a couple of meaty clamps that you can clamp it to if you don't want to use that clamping system. So you want to use a traditional clamping system. So yeah, it's got quite a nice couple of options that you can use there. So all in all, it's a premium Flight Yoke system. But you'll be paying a bit more, quite a bit more, if you buy this and the Bravo throttle quadrant. Something else I must mention. There's no triggers for rudders here. If you want to use rudders, which is recommended when you're flying, you're going to have to spend a bit of money on some rudder pedals. Now, I've got the VelocityOne rudder pedals here. You don't have to go with them. With this, and even on Xbox, you can use something like did I say I said VelocityOne there, didn't I? You can use the Logitech rudder pedals, which you can pick up pretty cheap, sub £100 quite often. And you can plug that into the hub for Xbox or plug it directly into your PC if you're using PC Microsoft Flight Sim. But you will need a set of rudder pedals with this system, so just bear that in mind. As I said, I don't think Honeycomb are hiding away from that. They're just saying premium flight experience. You're going to have to pay a little bit more. You're going to be thankful for it. Okay, so that's both systems and the features of both systems. Let me now take you to my conclusion and recommendations. So conclusion and my recommendations for you. I'll just be completely honest and transparent. Honeycomb have sent me this. The XPC Yoke and Hub. Turtle Beach in the past have gifted me the flight stand and the rudder pedals. Playlist down below for the VelocityOne products. You can go and view them. I don't want to be a pawn for either company. You are my most important people, viewers and subscribers. And members, and goodness knows what, it's you. I wouldn't have this channel without you. I wouldn't be making these videos without you. I want to give you my honest opinions of both. So that's what I'm going to do here. VelocityOne Flight Yoke system. Incredible features. You've got the rudder pedals. You've got those 2 PLV, 2 hat switches. Incredible amounts of buttons. Push-pull levers. And the incredible trim wheelers here, sit panel, all these features for one price. If you buy this, you're getting the whole thing. The ultimate portable system. If ever I travel anywhere, this is a Yoke system without a doubt. It's my go-to Yoke system. Absolutely love it. Bit of an unfortunate design flaw in the elevator axis there when you first get it. Just bear with that. Just use it a bit. That will ease. I'm absolutely in love with that system. Honeycomb XPC, I've not experienced anything quite like the movement and the silky smooth elevator and aileron axis as I do with this yoke system. Obviously it's a little bit more expensive. It's quite a big unit on your desk as well, but you do get quite a lot of nice features with it, especially if you got the Bravo quadrant as well, but you are paying a little bit more. It's really up to you. What price points are you willing to go to, and which of the yokes initially do you feel that you want to go with, that you want to buy? It's got to be your choice. If there's something niggling you already about the VelocityOne flight yoke system and you're not sure, and you've got the money for the XPC yoke, then that's the one to go with. If you don't want to spend that much, and knowing that you will have to buy a throttle quadrant if you buy this, and rudder pedals as well, you don't want to go to that expense, but you want an all-in-one inclusive yoke system, this is the one to go with. I can't say which one do I prefer to use. I prefer to use this yoke to fly. I prefer to use this yoke just for the overall amount of options it gives you. The buttons, the hat switches, the rudders at the front there, the sit panel. This is probably still going to be my go-to yoke system, but this has some incredible flight dynamics and is smooth as silk in flight. That's the best recommendation I can give. I can't tell you which one you should buy. It's where your preference lies. I can promise you that you're going to be happy, well, hopefully, with both systems. I know people, and we've been having this discussion recently in Discord, a lot of people are happy with their VelocityOne. Some people aren't. In the same way, some people are not happy with their XPC yoke. You can't please everybody. But which one really takes your fancy? If you own, by the way, the VelocityOne flight yoke system, and you've been listening to what I've been saying about the silky, smooth feeling of flight with that, don't feel you're missing out too much. I wouldn't likely have ever bought this. This wasn't sent to me. This wouldn't be sitting on my desk. This will be my go-to yoke system. I have such a good overall experience with this yoke system. I would have been quite happy, and this is the one that I would have been using, and I'll still be using this in the future, by the way, if I didn't have that. I guess that's the best recommendation I can give, but do let me know your thoughts below. Now listen, do be civil with each other. Hopefully we're all adults. There's no need for massive arguments down in the comments section, and obviously don't be rude to other people if they own either system and you don't agree with it. If you don't agree with it, that's your opinion, but there's no need to be rude, so please be civil. But do let me know your thoughts down below. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon.